Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I just kind of wanted to do this video. It's been something I'd wanted to do a couple weeks ago, but I just got busy with other videos and stuff that I wanted to do, so I'm doing it now. But I just wanted to talk about the whole cup leeches in the lower series and how I think they now. I hear everybody as soon as I bring up this topic, or probably even just off of seeing the title for the video saying, "Oh, just get Kyle Busch out of the series, out of the lower series." And while yes, that would solve the problem of having this discussion, I think there is room to have them down there to help. Because I think having drivers like not necessarily just Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, but guys like Paul Menard, AJ Allmendinger. Granted, AJ Allmendinger is not full time this year, but even guys like McDowell going down there and able to teach the younger kids a thing or two. I think it's actually good for the sport at helping develop younger stars. Because if you just had the younger stars down there racing amongst themselves, they'd really only learn how to race against the younger guys that don't know as much. And really, I think it would slow down the development process, and you wouldn't have guys flying up through the ranks like Christopher Bell. Um, Cole Custer's been a little bit of a slower development, but even guys who have already made it to the Cup Series because they flew by so quick. Larson, Elliott, Byron, uh, Eric Jones. You had so many guys just fly through there. And to be honest, I think the reason some of them underperformed was because they didn't get enough racing help from experienced teammates. I mean, if you look at kind of the let's look at the Joe Gibbs roster because I named off quite a few Joe Gibbs guys. Um, Christopher Bell has had um, Kyle Busch as a teammate a lot of the time and as a team owner in the Truck Series, and he and Eric Jones developed really well. And I would say that they are right about even between Eric Jones and Christopher Bell, but I'm not going to get into that because that's more silly season stuff. But I think that they were greatly helped by having Kyle Busch in the trucks for 5 races and the Xfinity for 7 in their seasons when they were competing. I think Eric Jones maybe should have done one more year in Xfinity rather than starting up with the 77 team to shut it down immediately. Also, might have helped the long term future of Furniture Row, but yeah. So I think though those two drivers were greatly helped, and then Larson. I feel like he didn't really get the same benefit because while yes he did race a season at Joe Gibbs Racing, I believe he was actually, if I remember correctly, he was actually splitting time with Kyle Busch. So when he was in that car, and then when he went over to the Chevrolet, he didn't have an experienced teammate to build off of. And then if we look at guys like Chase Elliott, who I think developed really well and really fast, he has guys like Snallgeier and Mike Lynette, who are both experienced veterans who have been in the Cup Series before. Sure, they aren't full time now, but they still bring Cup level experience down there. And even if you look um, at Stuart Haas, I mean, Custer has developed really well, and I think that development has probably got to go at least somewhat to the to Kevin Harvick going down there. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I'm not a big Harvick fan, but hey, Harvick going down there, I think that helped out Custer there. Now, of course, when Cup guys win, of course, it does seem to spoil the party a bit for the time being. But then the drivers that finish second, and even when a driver like Cole Custer earlier this year at Auto Club can edge out a Cup guy, it really shines a spotlight on a great driver. Um, like Cole Custer, he beat Kyle Busch head to head, kind of like what Eric Jones did when he was discovered at the Snowball Derby. He beat Kyle Busch head to head in the race. So, yeah, I think that's one of the big things I wanted to kind of say. And I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but then you have things like what happened um, two Saturdays ago at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where Paul Menard just intentionally wrecked out Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton, Truck Series regular, getting his first few opportunities in Xfinity equipment. I think he shouldn't be in the Xfinity Series quite yet, but I mean that was blatantly just Menard wrecking him, and he even admitted to wrecking him over the radio afterwards. And oh my, I definitely think though the Cup drivers should be held to a higher standard. They should be the ones um, who are able to race cleaner, like not just intentionally, and also be able to handle their anger a bit better. Of course, drivers such as Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart, I feel like there would have to be some kind of level of control they have to show. Like if they get in a fight in the Cup Series, I'd say that would keep them out of the lower leagues for a period of time, basically to just try and keep them from bringing that aggressive attitude down to the Xfinity Series to where they might get hot-headed in the middle of a race and spit out a young developing driver who might be on a career day. Now, I don't think Burton was on a career day, but he was certainly trying to build up some notes at a track that his dad absolutely dominated for a couple of years. So yeah, I think that absolutely some kind of way to keep the super hot heads out of the younger series, or at least make sure that they are behaving themselves while they're down there. Because of course we don't want to see guys just going out there and blatantly wrecking each other. So yeah, that was another one of the things. Like I think they should absolutely be held to a higher standard than the Xfinity regulars, because the Xfinity regulars, if they get mad at each other, yeah, they're trying to develop and they're running for a championship. While other drivers are not running for a championship there. And I think it's been kind of a good thing to see them also going to different events, so you don't just have Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Kevin Harvick battling it out for the win at like Auto Club in the Xfinity Series, and you just see those three Cup drivers battling it out for the win. And they aren't even blowing. I mean, they don't blow out the field either. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, yeah, Kyle Busch, he's Kyle Busch. He dominates everywhere, pretty much. So, yes, Kyle Busch definitely dominates when he goes down there. But if you look at Harvick and Keselowski and Menard, they aren't decimating the field when they go down there. I mean, they aren't even winning every race when they go down there. Kyle isn't either. I mean, even drivers like Kyle that are seemingly indestructible, they are just, I mean, they are not unbeatable. And that's, I think, what's showing some of these drivers as young stars. I mean, I honestly think, actually, one of the things I recently found out, because I was trying to figure out what was going on with the Eldora lineup, that Truck Series teams aren't actually limited to 4 drivers. I think Kyle Busch Motorsports should bring on someone like Greg Biffle or AJ Allmendinger full time next season, so that they have a full time or pretty much a heavy amount of help for Todd Gilliland and Harrison Burton, who are trying to develop themselves as stars of the future. Now I'm sure that there's reasons for why that wouldn't work as well, but I can't help but think that it would be a massive benefit for those two in particular to have a teammate, especially if they've got the room for it. Like they want to, of course, Kyle Busch wants his personal truck, the 51, for him to race when when it's his turn to go down there. So I understand. So you got the 2 full timers of Burton and Gilliland, who are your development drivers. Then you've got your 51 truck, which is split between Kyle Busch and Christian X. And then you have the 46, which you could run full time if you got the funding for AJ Allmendinger or Greg Biffle or some other veterans like that. And then you could have a 5th car if you need it for some of the other young stars like Riley Herbst and whatnot. So I think that would actually be a good plan there for KBM, but this is more about the young, like the truck, like the drivers going down there. I'd like to see maybe if they were to adjust this rule, I'd like to see them change it to maybe some rule like, okay, you have 12 events that you can go down to the lower series. You can go all to the trucks, all to the Xfinity, split it 6 and 5 or 7 and 5 like they do currently, 6 and 6. You can, but the drivers can choose how they split it. I think that would be kind of interesting. Of course, I don't know how it would work if drivers just kept choosing to go down to the truck series, but yeah, I think though it would be. I think though it's a good opportunity for drivers though to get to race with these Cup stars. I mean, maybe even if the now if the now I can understand though playoff races. I'd even say like 2 races prior to the playoffs. Don't let the Cup drivers in those, and don't let them in the season opener. But I'd say most of the rest of the schedule should be fine. I mean, yeah, you don't want a Cup driver coming in and messing up the title fight. So I just don't let them in the playoff races, 2 or 3 races before the playoffs, and the season opener, because that's usually the highest paid event. I'd say though those 3 restrictions, as well as of course a limit to the number, so that they aren't just running full-time truck, Xfinity, and Cup. Unlike certain Ross Chastain, who's running all 3 full-time. Granted, he's not competitive really in Xfinity or Cup. Granted, he did get that race win in the Xfinity series, so yeah. So figured I'd at least let you guys know about that. Figured this would be a good Tuesday episode. If you guys want to get a Ryan Dyer T-shirt or Thomas Cup Series T-shirts, links are down below in the description. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, leave a like, subscribe, and share the video around if you guys have friends that are interested in cars going around in circles very, very fast. See you guys later. Bye.